Alright, so when dealing with pieces like this, we have to look at scale. And scale in the Unreal Engine is 96 units equals about 6 foot. That means I'll have to take a grid and look at the length of width of unit would be 1 unit with a grid line every 32 units. And if I want to divide the 32-bit up or 32 up, I could do subdivisions. In this case, I want 1 subdivision per 32. So I'll hit apply and close it, and you're not going to actually see a grid in the perspective view, but if you jump into the top view, you'll see a grid. So in this case, I got these pieces, and you can get these pieces, by the way. There's a little link in the bottom of this video where you can get the pieces on my MediaFire account. I'm going to separate these. I'm going to treat these longer pieces as they're always going to be 6 foot. That makes more sense to me. Alright, so I'm just going to scale those up to be 3 of these, because 3 times 32 is 96. Perfect. Now, if this is going to be a catwalk is going to be what, 3 foot wide-ish. I would say it's about 4 foot wide though, to give the character some leeway. So in this case, I'm going to scale this up to 2 wide here. Just like that. And this one right here, I'm going to scale that one up to be 2 wide also. Modify center pivot. Now these kind of have to fit together, so they're going to be pretty perfect next to each other. Let's see, 4 on the keyboard. Right there's good. Okay, I just scaled these linearly, so in a linear fashion. I didn't scale them anywhere else, so these tools right here still work with these objects. I think this pipe right here might be a little bit better if they were scaled up, so I'm going to scale them all up to the same standard. Again, I'm going to treat the pipe as it's 6 foot long. So first I'm going to go like this to scale that up a little bit. Then I'll take the pipe and scale it. So I made the joints so they still fit within the context of this, and these are big enough to be interesting now. These are actually made up of a few parts. So I have this, just a standard everyday old cylinder. I have these parts, which need to be combined now. And now all these need to be just combined in some fashion. Like these get combined together. These. It looks like I made a mistake with the whole rail system, but that's okay. I think it's a good mistake to make in the fashion that I want this to be longer, but I want these still to be thin. So duplicate that over. And then I'm going to take these and duplicate them. Hit 4 on the keyboard so I can see what I'm doing. So it looks like if I got rid of this one right here and scaled these two rails up, so I'll take it vertice. Now if I want to scale both those together, I can go like this. Mesh combine, grab the vertex, or vertices in this fashion, and go like that. So I want these to be on the very end. That way if I go to reuse the piece over and over again, they match up. Alright, so I'm going to test that concept right now to see if this is going to work as a design goes. If not, I'll have to tweak it a little bit, but I want you to see, you know, how I kind of think of this. So let's say I make another part and I push it down the line. Okay, as you can see, that doesn't really work. I'm going to have a piece that sticks out here in order for that to work. Okay, so I'm going to make another copy of it, and this middle part is what I'm going to use to make it perfect. So mesh separate. I'll jump into my side view, hit F, hit 4 on the keyboard. In this case I need one of these to stick out here. Okay. And I need one of these to stick out the other side. Alright, so I'm going to combine those and retry out the trick to see if I can blend them together. I see something that's already going to fail, so I need to know how to fix it. I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to delete this one. Then combine all these. Alright, so I'll just give it a copy, Shift D to duplicate, move it down the line. Aha. So what I'm going to have to do is go like this, and then close this gap up. Alright, well, here's how I would handle that. I would combine these two together. Take the vertex or vertices on both sides and scale them together. Perfect. So I need to do that on the other side too. In this case I'm going to have to separate. Get rid of one side of this. Combine it again. And then I'm going to duplicate it and see if it matches on the other side. Okay, so same trick as before. Combine those. Take the vertice, scale them together. Separate. Alright, now that's a repeated pattern and I can use it over again. If I combine it, I can go like this, modify center pivot, Shift D, duplicate it, and then the next time I use it, it's going to match up. Now the one thing I need to do is get rid of one of these on the one side and keep it on the other side. To do that, just delete that one. And I think I could just go face, control right click to shell, and delete. That way it'll save me some time. So Shift D to copy it, move it down the line. Pretty close. The reason you do this too is to save texture space. In this case, I can have really high-res texture on here and use it over and over again. And I'll just keep doing this over and over until I get a perfect tileable 3D mesh. There we go. We have our now new tileable mesh. Alright, let's look at it here. So if I have this running alongside a building of some nature, it would look really cool. And I want to make it so I can quickly do it without thinking too much, so that when I'm doing a level design, I don't have to worry about, stopping, going to Maya, adding some meshes there, modeling a new tool. I want to use the same tool over and over. Alright, so that's the design aspect of most of the pieces that I make now, is the idea of reusing them. So now that we've scaled all these pieces, let's go into the next video where we look at texturizing them, or UVing them.